Hi guys. So this Saturday is the full moon in Aquarius, and I've been saying for a long time I really want to do more full moon collective readings. So here we are. I've actually managed to have the free time to record one actually in time for the full moon, so that's nice. So here I am. So I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about tarot readings while I set up my space. Disclaimer. The reason why I have free time is because I called off work because I'm recovering from something. I was in Toronto over the weekend, so it was Caravana. So you know how it goes. I picked up some strange shit from doing shenanigans. Overall, I have my feelings about collective readings. I find that a lot of tarot readers, especially if you consume tarot solely through social media, can be a little toxic. It can be a little predatory. I feel like a lot of the times, not my cat, she's being obnoxious. A lot of the times, I feel like these readers will just tell you what you want to hear. Like, you want to hear that your ex is going to get back together with you. You want to hear that the thing is going to happen in like 5 minutes from now. You want to hear that they're thinking of you. Especially when it comes to love readings, I feel like. If you're a lover girl, if you're someone who feels very intensely in romantic relationships, which most people do, some people are better at hiding it, or they have their own shit that they have to go through before they can actually fully feel the intensity. You know how easy it is to get into very high limerent states where you're just kind of obsessed and ruminate over people, your relationships, regardless of whether or not it's romantic, to ruminate over relationships. And I find a lot of the time the way that a lot of TikTok, Instagram tarot readers operate is by playing into that rumination. And it can often just be very unhealthy. So me, I don't really consume any, which is so weird for me to say while I'm actively like recording a tarot reading. But I feel like it's a lot of people have lost sight of the craft of tarot, of what tarot is really about. And it isn't to tell the future. I think people can use tarot for divination, but divination is, even the definition of the word is it's very nuanced, I'll say. Divination means to get in touch with the divine. And while I think people can have the capacity to guess or tell the future or predict things, I predicted things just from sheer pattern recognition. I do not think, however, that someone online a million miles away from you has the capacity to guess the thing that's going to happen in your individual life without any interaction with you, without interaction with your specific energy. That they'll just know what is going to happen for you because they have magic. Anyone who's trying to sell you that dream is selling you bullshit and trying to... They're after their own bag, essentially. I'm not going to say that I don't desire success or commercial success, or I don't desire my work to be seen, the things that I share to be seen. But I recognize that tarot is about the act of learning. The people who created tarot were ceremonial magicians, people who basically took schools of thought, like let's think about Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. Kabbalah is Jewish esotericism. So, and that's Jewish esotericism that's more specifically focused on specific practices, less so than we're just going to church and praying. The goal of ceremonial magic is, like most religious schools of thought, like the Eastern schools, and is ascension of the spirit. But ceremonial magic goes another step further by its interest in the opposite direction, where it's like you wanna. It's the goal is to ground yourself in what is going on in life currently, and there are lessons that repeat itself through all of our lives. The cars like the tower, for example, the great breaking down of something that you've built that may not have had the best foundation. We've all experienced that, regardless of whether or not that is in our relationships, through our careers, through familial relationships, through even in ourselves, identities we built, crumbling down after time. Oh my god, this is taking so long today. I know my charcoal's being so stubborn. Wants to give me time to talk, it seems. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what's gonna happen in your life, because I don't fucking know what's gonna happen in your life. I haven't met you, and even if I did meet you, I have the authority to do any of that. Any healer, any spiritual teacher that's going to try and sell you that dream, because we all want to hear someone tell us what to do sometimes. We want to know the exact answer. Anyone who tries to sell you that is not the recognition that we don't really have control over those things, and that force, that spirit, that whatever thing that we're completely out of control of, life itself. It's not up for us to know. And if we're meant to know, we would know. Sometimes we do learn through dreams. Like, I'm not going to say our healers, the way the role they play in society does not mean that they will not be able to predict things or tell us things that are going to happen. Like, for example, dismantling of capitalism. You don't need to be a genius to see that shit's crumbling. It's going to come crumbling down. It's actively crumbling down. That's just pattern recognition as well, too. Give me a minute while this heats up. I don't know anything so stubborn. I just need to catch flames so I can actually. Okay, I'm getting up. Up on the side. I don't know if that's gonna fully burn properly, burn. But for me, what I'm trying to say is that my focus will not be predictions. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. That's going to come soon. All this thing that you've been waiting for is going to come soon. I'm going to tell you what's here, what lesson is there to be learned, what energy you need to embody. You may need to embody to get to this next chapter of your life. And I would tell you with the knowing that sometimes it won't be right for you. Sometimes my lesson will not hit for you. Sometimes I will be wrong. But also the knowing that for the right people, in the right moments, that things will be said for the reasons that they need to be said. And maybe I need to hear the lesson that I'm sharing. Maybe there's one person that needs to hear the lesson that I'm sharing. And my friend recently, I did a reading for one of my friends a bit ago. And I recently I got more hyped again about doing readings, which was nice. Oh, here's one of the creators of tarot, Pamela Anderson. Who's Pamela Anderson? I don't know about that name. Pamela Coleman Smith. She did the artwork for tarot. And she and Ryder Waite Smith were part of the Golden Dawn. So we talk about tarot magic. That's because it's one of my special interests as of late. And the practices have been very insightful for me, I think. The best way to put it, at least. But I did a reading for one of my friends, and I remembered how much I love reading. And also I noticed that I low-key have no idea what I'm saying when I'm doing readings. It's a big thing about this is trying to be present. Even if I'm reading from another book, I'm reading from a book, which I will do today because I love the deck but I love the accompanying book for one of my decks. It's just beautiful. And I feel like every time I read it, the lessons are always just so impactful. But when I do readings, I realize I don't know what I'm saying. And most of the time it's stuff I need to hear as well. Lessons will just come up for me there'll be synchronicities where I'm like, damn, I need to hear that, or things that I've been saying to myself in my mind. It's helping me move through something. But I think the greatest thing that you realize is that tarot moves through grace. Just for the sheer chance of being in the right moment at the right time, where you could hear the right thing that you need to hear, that motivates you. It's not some big magic person coming here giving you the exact guidance on what you need to do next, because nobody knows better than you do. I promise you that. Nobody knows better than you do. And you may think that you don't have the capacity, or you may think you are foolish and your understanding of the world is not as deep as it should be. But I promise you, you're so much bigger than that. And this is not even me trying to be a motivational speaker or whatever. But I think it just simply is the truth. Once you start actually listening, like fully listening, you'll recognize that too. That your feelings aren't a mere matter of chance. None of your experiences are a mere matter of chance. I guess chance in the way that we would look at it from the spiritual perspective. And even from a scientific perspective, you have no idea how many patterns that neural pathways your brain has taken up that you just are deigned to repeat because of your history. That generational trauma is, we from research have learned that it's so much bigger than just, oh, my parents experienced abuse, or they experienced the trauma of maybe colonialism or imperialism, whatever. So now I have issues with my health, and I have depression, and I have anxiety. It's epigenetics. The fact that your genes literally turn on and off based off of these things, and that you're at least markers in your body for how you interact that affects the way your hormones and your nervous system regulates itself. And nervous system regulation is so big when it comes to healing. Everything goes through our nervous system, and the capacity to stay calm and to stay at ease is huge. I think what I'm trying to say is that it goes beyond just chance, and it goes beyond the mind. It goes to the body, it goes to the spirit, it goes to the soul. All of these things are connected. We are not just a bunch of pieces. We're one thing, even on a grander scale. We are all just cells of the organism called life. And there's many of us, but it's like your cell is a cell, but it's a part of you, and it's a part of the one thing that is you at the end of the day. Okay. I feel nervous. I haven't done a reading. I think when I haven't done a reading, especially a collective reading in a minute, I always get nervous. So it sounds like 3 times, but okay. So I'm gonna pull 3. I don't want this to be too long, to wait 50 minutes. I've already just been yapping from the beginning. 4. And 1 more here. Now I'm just gonna pull 2 overarching cards from my other deck, which the readings can be a little longer for theirs, so hopefully this ends up being under 30 minutes. Also really hoping to find a way to do this so you can see the cards while I am reading. So I think it's good to look at the imagery. Symbols are so great for our brain. The things that we aren't consciously connected to in our brains work through symbols. Our dreams work through symbols. Dreams are never literal. Like, one thing that I've noticed in my dreams is, for me, the big thing is doing less and trying less and just allowing the things that are outside of my control to remain outside of my control and not trying to grasp for control of them. things coming to me versus where I am now, where I'm chasing after them, or through things outside of my control, just kind of working out despite the amount of effort I put into studying and working. Like one thing dream I had recently, just like I was doing an exam to get into school, and in the middle of the exam, I just got pulled out of the exam. I met someone who was like very successful, so silly. It was Tony Stark, and he just kind of like was like, "Yo, come see my lab." And I went to go see his lab, and then I went to go write my exam again, which I was already doing phenomenal at. I was like, I'm one of those nerds that's like, oh, the exam is sexy. I love writing an exam, and I'm being like going over it like 5 times and getting my 98. But then I was told to stop writing, and I was like, whoa, but what about school? Like I need to get in, but and then it just kind of gave me a look, and then I already knew that I had already gotten in. And I didn't need to do more work, that I already done all the work. And obviously that's very silly. The dream is very silly, but it has a lesson there that it's like sometimes you just need to learn when to just like kind of stop and just kind of accept things. But I'll choose the overarching card for the theme. Okay. Okay. There's overarching cards. There's a Rider-Waite card, and there's a Zen Tarot card. This is the Zen Tarot deck. If you've ever seen it, Osho Zen Tarot. But it comes with such beautiful poetry that I just love using them in my readings. I think I'll get one more card. I like this one. No, just like. Okay. I'm gonna put one more. That's secret for now. Okay. So overarching cards for this from Aquarius. Oh, was I just not talking about the tower? But okay, whatever. The tower was a verse originally when it came out, but I'm gonna unverse it. I'm gonna talk about the verse and the unverse side. And the second card was tuning in. It's really interesting. So if you have interest in tarot at all, you've probably seen the tower by now. This card, however, the artwork tends to be a little bit different. This is technically would be the 4 of Cups, so it's a water suit. You can see the face in the background. What I want to do first is I'm going to read this card. This is our overarching themes, the tower and turning in. The woman in this image has a faint smile on her face. In fact, she is just watching the antics of the mind, not judging, not trying to stop them, not identified, just watching as if there were traffic on the road or ripples on the surface of a pond. And the antics of the mind are slightly amusing, as it jumps up and down and twists this way and that, trying to get your attention and seduce you into the game. So while the knack of taking a distance from the mind is one of the greatest blessings, it is what meditation is all about really, not chanting a mantra or repeating an affirmation, but just watching, as if the mind belongs to somebody else. You're ready to take this distance now and to watch the show without getting caught up in the drama. Indulge yourself in the simple freedom of turning in whenever you can, and the knack of meditation will grow and deepen in you. Turning inwards is not a turning at all. Going inward is not a going at all. Turning inward simply means that you have been running after this desire and that. You have been running, and you've been coming again and again to frustration. As each desire brings misery, there is no fulfillment through desire. You never reach anywhere. That contentment is impossible. Seeing this truth that running after desires takes you nowhere, you stop. Not that you make any effort to stop. If you make any effort to stop it again, you are running again in a subtle way. You are still desiring. Maybe now it is desirelessness that you desire. If you are making an effort to go in, you are still going out. Any effort can only take you outwards. All journeys are outward journeys. There is no inward journey. Happy new journey inwards. You're already there. There is no point in going. When going stops, journeying disappears. When desiring is no more clouding your mind, you are in. This is called turning in, but it is not a turning at all. It is simply not going out. And I'm getting emotional. Like, I really want to start crying, and I might actually cry for this. I'm trying to get this reading, but I love doing readings too because that stuff really resonates. It's like I also know I'm meant to be here. It's like confirmation, whatever. But it's like I've had gotten this card before, and I feel like this is the first time I've actually felt this lesson. And it's the most insane thing to grasp because you're not meant to grasp it. That's the most beautiful thing about it. You're not meant to grasp it because once you're trying to grasp it, you're in your mind again. And it's such a slippery, tricky slope. Because the moment you start to even desire desirelessness, you're also getting in your mind again. And it's feel like it's this thing I've just started to not even become aware of because it's literally awareness itself. But it's like I become unaware of all the things that I was placing my awareness on and just noticing what I was. And when I tell you, even the desire to have this thing again too will also get you wrapped up in the mind's game. It's insane. So I feel like that's what the Tower card, even the reverse, because the card came in reverse. I'm flipping it forward because I like to usually read it this way, and I'm like, whatever. The big thing with the Tower cards, like I was saying before, is it's something you've built, maybe on a shaky foundation, just kind of crumbling and crawling down. These are like themes, these are messages. And I feel like when it comes to this, it kind of especially since it came out reverse, I feel like it's telling me that this experience has happened. You've already experienced the tower, the breaking down of what you knew. And I think in this term, the tower could speak on many levels. It can talk about physical, like maybe you lost your house, maybe your relationship fell apart, maybe your career is falling apart. But I think in this, given this, the card that it goes with, it goes on another level too. Maybe you've also experienced a thing on this level where it's like, okay, in the physical world, whatever. But you're also experiencing it from the spiritual lens as well too. Which everything is spiritual, but speaking strictly from the spiritual lens, it's like identity breaking down, which disidentifying is the biggest part. And this is what he was talking about in meditation. You stop desiring things because desiring is an act of identity. Usually when you desire something, it's to boss up your identity. You desire a relationship because you built an identity around a life plan that you have for yourself. So you want a partner so you can get married and you can have kids and you can have the house and you can have the dream life. Because that's what you've been told and that's what you've identified with. That's what you've built your persona around, and that's what you've built your idea of your future persona being around. And that's why we often, when we don't get these things, we end up in such turmoil and suffering. Even this thing was never really even there from the first place. It was just an idea. It was just this desire. It's what we say desire breeds suffering. The lack of it becomes a point in which we start to enter into turmoil because we feel that without it, the suffering or the lack or the emptiness that we may be feeling or experiencing will never be filled. And it's not about that. When you really actually, instead of trying to fill the space, choose to explore it, whatever feeling of emptiness or whatever thing you feel like in your life that you need to like have in order to be happy or to even aside from being happy to not be unhappy. A lot of the time we're not even seeking happiness, we're seeking to just stay away from unhappiness, which a lot of the time causes us to suffer more. But and instead of trying to fill the space, you explore the space, you'll start to find more of yourself within it. And not identity, not ego, but yourself. I'm gonna put these cards away. So I'll show you this. I'm gonna turn cards around. I'm gonna turn the deck around. Easy. Don't mind her. She needs. It's one of the things that I'm in need of too. Which, oh, I was thinking about that earlier. I actually do need to spruce up my altar. So these are the cards we got. Oh my god, the synchronicities with my last reading too is insane. The Hermit reversed. Oh, bruh. Oh! You're the white ground. I'll explain white ground later. And this was on top of the Hermit. Fine, bruh. Whatever. Yes, I have to get annoyed by the lesson that I'm hearing. Because I'm like, usually I know I need to hear that, but do I want to deal with it right now? No. I know what you want from me. I'm getting defensive at no one at the cards. Oh, God. We got the Queen of Pentacles. We got, I believe that's the Eight of Pentacles. Then we got the Six of Swords and the Hermit reversed, which we also got Source as a side card. We have, I think, two more other side cards, which I think I'll be at the very, very end. Or maybe make us a short reading to post on TikTok or whatever. But I feel like just going over on a like dive into any specific card too deep. Adventure, New Vision, the top cards on the deck. And the reading. And the Hermit reverse. And the Six of Swords reverse too. Kind of feels like it's telling me and telling us. Because I also, my reaction is I know I need to hear this too. It's just time to get your shell a little bit, babe. Hermit time is over. And one thing about me, I love my hermit time. And I did my first, a lot of my spirituality. I think I started to notice big shifts in my spirituality. And like a big like deepening of my interest in my spirituality. When I left my long-term relationship, very codependent, even the whole dynamic outside of like where I was living to was very codependent. Everyone was very like on each other, and I didn't really have individuality, which individuality from a spiritual lens can be very touch and go, because you also need to send the recognition that individuality can also be a thing of the ego, that you are part of a collective, and that anything that I start to like identify with too much will also end up bolstering up my ego, and then ultimately leading to my own suffering. Which you can tell I'm getting very deep with this shit, but but coming out of that, I struggled with that like space of alone time, of just like solitude and serenity in solitude. That was 2-3 years ago, and I'm now at a place where I'm like, I love being alone. I'm content with being alone, very content with being alone, and my space alone, and my time alone, and the time I spend in meditation, the time I spent journaling and reading and like learning about the things that interest me. I think that time is a gift, but you can't stay like that forever. You can't sit by yourself at home forever. You can't spend all the time in your life forever, because, like I said before, you are not just an individual. You're part of a collective. You're part of this great big world, and it's time for you to start acting like you're part of this great big world. It's time to go outside. I don't mean, and I think I go outside. I'm not gonna lie. I will go out, shake some ass, but it's also about also being open. I feel like when you start to get very content in your solitude and in this feeling of aloneness, and like not in a grievous aloneness, it's like this gratitude, because I'm learning so much in this space I have by myself, and I do still connect with people. I have my family and my friends, but I think it's also important to open yourself to new opportunities and new adventures and things that are just like so different outside of your comfort zone. especially when it comes to connecting with other people, because I feel like I get the feelings about connecting with other people as well. But we'll also see from the reading more. So I think that's what the Hermit and this card comes with too. And that's what kind of tells me that this you coming outside of a heartbreak where you have to leave something behind. It's time for you to come back now, and not go back to the thing that you left behind, but to come back to an open state where you're welcoming things now. It's not about leaving anymore. It's not about just removing some situations. It's about putting yourself in situations, putting the effort into relationships. So it's like, say you had to leave a friendship behind, maybe this summer. Now's the time for you to open yourself up to new friendships now. And embrace new friendships. And not just even like, I'm open, which I have a habit of doing that too, where I'm just like, I'm open. And I'm just like looking at the sky the entire time. I'm not looking around me. I'm not seeing who's around me. The term open but uninterested comes to mind. They just like don't even really bother. But it's time to bother a little bit now. And also this also feels like there's affirmation about work and hard work. I know for me, this next season coming up, I start school and I'm in a nursing program, so you know those programs are crazy. So I already know that's just gonna be me sweating and pounding away at like building up my career, which is so important to me. If you ever met me and like really talk to me, you know that my career is like it's like everything to me. And I've come to a point where I've become as attached to it and like how it forms and where it comes from. But I really do know how the way I feel about my work, and I trust in that. So I feel like this has a lot to do with work, given the fact that the Queen of Pentacles is also there. So if it's like the call to like embody the energy of the Queen, who is very. And it's crazy too because the last time I pulled this card, it was in this exact placement too. Did that for my friend. If you're watching this, love you, babe. I feel like it calls us to embody the energy of feeling completely safe and comfortable in everything that we have in the physical. That is everything that we need. And when we need more will come. That's a big thing for me, I feel like, realizing that. And even looking at the past and taking that as a reference to be like, yo, everything I experienced back then has taken me to this place. And regardless of whether or not you feel like this is exactly where you're meant to be, or this is exactly where you want to be, better put, you're here. And simply from the fact that you're here, you're meant to be here. So it comes to an acceptance that everything that I've ever experienced, everything that I'm experiencing now will take me to the places that I am meant to be. And trusting in that. And the Queen doesn't just trust in that. She embodies that. She's the Queen of Pentacles. She knows that with every fiber of her being. She's confident in that. She's confident in her abundance. And you can see the way she carries herself. That she makes do with whatever she has. It's like, okay, you're broke. And when I was living with myself for the first time, it was insane. Because I was like, what, 22, 21, 22, whatever. Living for myself for the first time, broke as hell, college student in Toronto, crazy. And I really ended up having to just figure shit out. And and I think something that I used to describe me and my family, we're very Venusian. We're very like, beauty is important, beautiful things is important, pampering ourselves. Like, the amount of things that I make from scratch for my skin, I have like my routines. I mean, everything is not super excessive and crazy, but it's very intentional. The incense I burn is intentional. The books I read are intentional to bolster up my energy, to teach me things about myself and my life experiences. I desire beauty, I desire peace, I desire soft grace and ease. And I put effort and energy into creating that. I think that's also what the Queen of Pentacles calls us to. Especially when we come into a period where we will be doing a lot of work. It's important to take care of ourselves physically. So that means exercising, going on walks, even when you don't want to. It means eating the right food. It means finding peace, finding calm, when it's not easy. And it can also mean reaching out to people. reaching out to your friendships, finding things that bring you ease and a sense of smile, and choosing that for yourself. It's like, yeah, you could be the hermit, and yeah, you could be so chill at home reading a book. But what if you just kick one of your friends up randomly and ask to sesh or some shit? That would be fun too. I'm sure that would feed your soul so well. And looking for that as a source of food for yourself as well, as fuel for yourself. And then we're gonna go to the next card because I feel like the source. This is a fire suit too, so I feel like that's creativity, that's passion. And I also feel like I could also say connection too. Okay, this is the ace of the suit, so this would be the ace of wands in original brighter weight. It's also good for my tarot girlies that are interested. My feet are falling asleep, so my altar, I usually would read on my altar, so that's on the ground. So I'm sitting on the ground. When we speak of being grounded or centered, it is this source we are talking about. When we begin a creative project, it is this source that we tune into. This card reminds us that there is a vast reservoir of energy available to us, and that we tap into it not by thinking and planning, but by getting grounded and centered and silent enough to be in contact with the source. It is within each of us, like a personal individual sun giving us life and nourishment. Pure energy, pulsating, available. It is ready to give us everything we need to accomplish something, and ready to welcome us back home when we want to rest. So whether you're reading something new and need inspiration right now, or you've just finished something and want to rest, go to the source. It is always waiting for you. You don't even have to step out of your house to find it. It doesn't ask you to come out of the head and go to the basic source. It's not that Zen is not aware of the uses of energy in the head, but if all the energy is used in the head, you will never become aware of your eternity. You'll never know as an experience what it is to be one with the whole. When the energy is just at the center, pulsating, when it is not moving anywhere, either in the head nor in the heart, but it is at the very source from where the heart takes it, the head takes it, pulsating at the very source. That is the very meaning of Zazen. Zazen just means just sitting at the very source, not moving anywhere. A tremendous force arises, the transformation of energy into light and love, into greater life, into compassion, into creativity. It can take many forms. But first you have to learn how to be at the source. And the source will decide where your potential is. You can relax at the source, and it will take you to your very potential. So that's what I was saying, is this thing of not doing, like I was saying with my dream, is this thing of not doing anything anymore. Like, doing, and when you start to notice, the beautiful thing is that when you start to notice the doing, when you've meditated enough, you've sat enough, and you've just like looked enough, you realize how much you're doing every single day, even in your mind. The energy that I put into even trying to stop my thoughts, from going constantly. I'm still doing something, and I'm still getting distracted from the source. It's that energy that's eternal, and that you start to catch glimpses of when you start to take breaks from the constant doing. And it's not something that you seek, you search for, because you are it. And once you start seeking and searching, you're once again doing. Say it with me. So, obviously it's very complicated. But it's also actually very simple. I think we as people on the, I hate saying the 3D, 2D plane, because I literally sound like every spiritual, like, it pisses me off. Because you're out here playing you're very 2D thinking. You're thinking 3D when you have to think of like the other dimensions. It makes me want to crash out. But when you're just thinking of things in the physical. On this level, I don't even know what my point was, but anyway. We have 3 more cards to go. I'm going to read Adventure. I'm going to read New Vision. New Vision is a major arcana. I'll show you Adventure. But I also feel like this also kind of touches on what I was... Source also, I feel like, also kind of touches on what I was saying before about... You don't really need to go anywhere. You'll kind of... Also, when I was saying the example of, hey, go out, ask your friends to hang out. That's not something that you have to consciously think about. Sit with yourself. And then see what is to come next, rather than trying to create the next step. Because I feel like it's really easy to just get caught up into trying to create a plan. Like, if you're very in your head and you're very much a thinker, where have the thinkers gone? And then you know that it's so easy to just try and create a tentative plan and just try and follow that without any thought of the fact that you don't really have control over any of the outside sources at all whatsoever. And you can make this plan and you could slave over this plan. Like, I remember I was 16, I had a tentative plan for my life. If I followed that plan, I'd be married to somebody that I would not want to be married to. I'd be miserable. I probably would not have gone for the career choice that would have led me to the most happiness, because I would not have had the confidence to do it, given everything that I've gone through since I've been at that point. And I wouldn't be here now, which would really fucking suck, because y'all wouldn't be getting a bomb ass reading. So this next card is Adventure. That's also a physical card. It's a rainbow, so pentacles, as we know it in Rider Waite. I think this is one of the court cards. It's one of the court cards. Oh, here's Adventure. It's a page of rainbows. And I feel like this is also... Page cards are always giving me inner child energy, too. So... And also, like I was saying, maybe you're a sign to just get outside and just see what your intuition takes you. That's something I did when I was living in the city a lot, where I would just kind of like leave. I leave wherever we were going, and then I just use my intuition and just walk wherever. And a lot of the time I'd find so much cool shit, random cool shit to do. I'd meet random people, like the most random people. And they'd have a good time. We are truly in a spirit of adventure. We are moving just like this child, full of trust, out of the darkness of the forest into the rainbow of the light. We go step by step, drawn by a sense of wonder into the unknown. Adventure really has nothing to do with plans and maps and programs and organizations. The page of rainbows represents a quality that can come to us anywhere, at home or in the office, in the wilderness or in the city, in a creative project, or in our relationships with others. Whenever we move into the new and unknown, the trusting spirit of a child, innocent and open and vulnerable, even the smallest things of life can become the greatest adventures. Zen says truth has something to do with authority. Truth has something to do with tradition. Truth has something to do with the past. Truth is a radical, personal realization. You have to come to know it. Or you have to come to it. Knowledge is certain. The search for personal knowledge is very, very hazardous. Nobody can guarantee it. If you ask me if I can guarantee anything, I say I cannot guarantee you anything. I can only guarantee danger. That much is certain. I can only guarantee you a long adventure with every possibility of going astray and never reaching the goal. But one thing is certain. The very search will help you grow. I can guarantee you only growth. Danger will be there. Sacrifice will be there. You are moving every day into the unknown, into the uncharted, and there will be no map to follow, no guide to follow. Yes, there are millions of dangers, and you can go astray, and you can get lost. That is the only way one grows. Insecurity is the only way to grow. To face danger is the only way to grow. To accept the challenge of the unknown is the only way to grow. I'm going to go straight to the new card, the next card, because it's not the lead battery. I think we're here. Next card is New Vision. Oh, this is my reading too, so I don't think I'm trying to come for anybody. I promise you, everything that I feel like I'm reading now is I'm taking it deeply for myself as well. Because I've been needing a reading for a minute too. The figure on this card is being born anew, emerging from his earthbound roots and growing wings of fire into the unbounded. The geometric shapes around the body of the figure show the many dimensions of life simultaneously available to him. The square represents the physical, the manifest, the known. The circle represents the unmanifest, the spirit, pure space. The triangle symbolizes the threefold nature of the universe, manifest, unmanifest, and the human being who contains both. Now you are presented with an opportunity to see life in all its dimensions, from the depths to the heights. They exist together, and we come to know from experience that the dark and the difficult are needed for as much as the light and easy, that we begin to have a very different perspective on the world. By allowing all of life's colors to penetrate us, we become more integrated. When you open up to the ultimate, immediately it pours into you. You are no longer an ordinary human being. You have transcended. Your inside has become the inside of the whole existence. Now you are no longer separate. You have found your roots. Otherwise, ordinarily, everybody is moving without roots, not knowing from where their heart goes on receiving energy, not knowing who goes on breathing in them, not knowing the life juice that is running inside them. It is not the body, it is not the mind, it is something transcendental to all duality. This is called Bhagavat. The Bhagavat in the 10 directions. Your inner being, when it opens, first experiences 2 directions, the heights, the depth. Then slowly, as this becomes your established situation, you start looking around, spreading the other 8 directions. And once you have attained to the point where height and depth is met, then you can look around to the very circumference of the universe. The new consciousness starts unfolding in all 10 directions, but the road has been won. I feel like that goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Like, I love when readings do that, where I was saying that we are all so many different things, and we were made up of so many different things. Like, physically, we have a million different cells that make up our organs, that make up organ systems, and these organ systems have different hormones that act together, and like, it's insane. Like, as even physically, just what we are, talk less of from the mental perspective or the spiritual perspective. But all these perspectives and all these different directions really just make up one thing. At the end of the day, the world is really just but one. Before we end, I'll do this as like what are we looking forward to? What can we like think about for the next little bit? Because I feel like this has been very present, but I think the next part can be a little bit, these 2 cards I'm going to show can be a little bit more of what are we kind of seeing right now for ourselves in the next little bit. And not to predict, like I was saying before, but for what things we should be conscious of. And where's my other card? It's in the card that I pulled. Okay, I guess it just changed because I've been seeing that card the entire time. And whatever you want to show up. But I feel like I pulled another card, but I guess I didn't. There's no other Rider Rate card. It's just change. You hear my sister crashing out of my car. He threw up, so he's just being dramatic with food. He just eats like a natural sociopath. Like, he's never gonna be fed again, ever in his life. And it's the last one he'll ever get. He gets fed 4 times a day. So I don't really know what's wrong with him. I mean, literally spent the 4 times a day so that he wouldn't throw up. So he could have like smaller portions. So he says I need to vomit his shit everywhere. And he does it anyway. But anywho. For the next little bit, I think onwards from the full moon, we could start embracing the energy of change. The symbol in this card is an enormous wheel representing time, fate, karma. Galaxies spin around this constantly moving circle. The 12 signs in the zodiac are in the circumference. Just inside the circumference are the 8 trigrams of the I Ching. And even closer to the center are the 4 directions, each illuminated by the energy of lightning. The spinning triangle is at this moment pointed upwards toward the divine. The Chinese symbol of yin and yang, male and female, creative and receptive, lies at the center. It's often been said that the only unchanging thing in the world is change itself. Life is constantly changing, evolving, dying, and being reborn. All opposites play a part in this vast circular pattern. If you cling to the edge of the wheel, you can get dizzy. Move toward the center of the cyclone and relax, knowing that this too will pass. Life repeats itself mindlessly. As you become mindful, it will go on repeating like a wheel. That's why Buddhists call it the wheel of life and death, the wheel of time. It moves like a wheel. Birth is followed by death. Death is followed by love. Love is followed by... Death is followed by birth. No. Birth is followed by death. Death is followed by birth. Love is followed by hate. Hate is followed by love. Success is followed by failure. Failure is followed by success. Just see. If you can watch this for a few days, you will see a pattern emerging. A wheel pattern. One day, a fine morning, you are feeling so good and so happy, and another day you are so dull, so dead that you start thinking of committing suicide. Just the other day, you were so full of life, so blissful that you were feeling thankful to God that you were in the mood of deep gratefulness. And today, there's a great complaint, and you don't see the point why one should go on living. And it goes on and on, but you don't see the pattern. Once you see the pattern, you can get out of it. Like this is what I was saying about generational trauma before too, where it was like, that was really just an example, but you just have to really pay attention to the things that we play a part in. Unless we're conscious of them, we continue to play a role in them. And we can't dare to remove ourselves from these things. But honestly, I'm probably going to cut that out because I don't think there's much else to say anymore. It's almost been an hour. I think that's a good card to have at the end because even in my meditation today, I'll show it to you guys one more time. Even during my meditation today, I feel like the other thing I was thinking of, I can't say I understand. I can't say I understand anything at all because what I meant to know, I meant to know. And what I'm not meant to know, I won't know. The things that I know now can still change. So I'm not going to be attached to understanding or knowing anything because, like all things, they're subject to change. Even this part of me that I'm witnessing that is eternal, I still don't know enough about it or experienced enough of it to say that I know that this isn't changing too. Maybe as I sit with it more, I'll know this isn't changing. But it also feels like a comfort to feel like that isn't changing, where I can feel like source, this feeling of source that's within all of us is solid and not solid in the physical sense that we can like grasp onto it or hold onto it. But we know it is always there, always witnessing, always aware, and that it gives us the capacity to just enjoy all the change, all the chaos and order of life. To enjoy the successes that follow the failures, and the failures that follow success, and the love and the hate, and the confusion and the understanding for what it really is, just a part of life, just an experience, just a beautiful gift for us. But yeah, that's all for the full moon, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I don't know how many readings I'm going to be doing for this channel, because this channel for me was mainly meant to just be focused on like video essay type stuff. I mean, just talking about these lessons, these lessons that are in these cards. But I think it'd be nice to do a reading every once in a while when I feel called to. This definitely was good for me, I would say, because some of the stuff I needed the confirmation on. Wish me luck, y'all. Bye.